Hello, Mike MC, bringing another self-care video. Now I'm just gonna go home. It was a good week of work, so now let's just go home. But I thought it was a good day. It really was. I feel relaxed, I learned, rejuvenated. Why complain against that? I'm very happy now. It's a good feeling. Hope everyone else had a good time today at work. Just let everyone know how y'all doing in the comments out there. That's really cool to know. Hope everyone's doing good and just taking in the day and the moment, right? Having a moment to breathe. And so I guess the theme, if I were to share a video, just a great deal of learning. Great deal of learning, because if without it, how are any of us gonna improve, right? And move on to the next challenge. I think one challenge I'll share with you when you do your first thing ever. So I did my first assessment this week. How many of us would like to go back and study our first one and then move on forward, right? But the thing is, what I'm trying to share with you for a good self-care tip, speaking as a counselor, helping you in the future, it's good to check your notes. Check your notes so you don't overlook anything. Because sometimes when that happens, it's like, okay, I realize I've been making a mistake and I haven't brought it up to anybody. I haven't checked on, like, okay, I was supposed to do this. I didn't ask my supervisor to check on this or this other thing, and I'm like, I making mistakes now, right? How do I avoid that? How do I avoid making those mistakes so that way I'm on track? And it's good to have checks, parameters, and to make sure that you're following everything to the standard that you're working at. Because here's a question for you. If you're working at a place where you exceed the standard, here's a self-care tip. Be very careful that you're not overdoing it. Very careful that you're not overdoing anything, so that way you don't make people look bad. Or you are starting to outshine everybody to where, this guy's now becoming the outlier. She's becoming the boss lady. We got to do something about this person. And you realize, I may have just stepped outside my bounds. So when you learn, do so with humility, and it will be safer for you. So that way you don't fall into that trap of getting a big head and thinking it's all you. But to always think, okay, humility is good. We're about to pass this stoplight, and humility is good. It allows you to be patient. And when you're able to be patient, and the driveway, even for this example, is now open to you, the driveway, the road, go for it. So the roads will open, the crossroads will open, and you will start to see, okay, things are lining up for me to take action. I can now move forward. I can now get out of this place. I can now do things that I've put the time and preparation to learn from. Now that I'm doing things, it's like, okay, practice, learning, making sense of everything. How many of us like to go back and read or study, right? How many of us want to go back and say, hey, I studied this book today on relationships or this or that, and everyone gives you that funny look. They laugh at you. What? You're reading this? Why are you doing that? You're studying this? Why would you do that, you fool? I mean, that's kind of weird, don't you think? I'm just reading something about relationships, yada yada. But think about it. It's a lost art. It's a lost art to study in today's world, in the sense, okay, all the information is put on the screen for you. All the information is now ready for you to access. It doesn't take much to just type in something and you get it right there. But would you consider that learning? Or is that really baby feeding, spoon feeding you all the information to where you don't even challenge your brain to think outside the box to find a solution? You realize, maybe I'm really making this too easy on myself, and now I need to challenge myself because I'm not really learning anything. I'm becoming the guinea pig. And that is the danger of being too reliant, too compliant with everybody, becoming a guinea pig at work, realizing, I never challenged myself because I stayed within my means. Now, do you like to be the guinea pig so that way you're not pushing the bounds, so that way you're not upsetting your boss? That's a real thing. That's very real. I've been in situations where I've outshined some parts of my work to where the boss was like, oh, really? Why would you do that? Or why? Why? Right? Those questions, to get underneath the skin. How many of us have had that toxic boss that they just want to really trigger you to make a mistake in front of everybody? Why would we do that? Why do this? Ooh, it's a good way of just trapping you to make a mistake. And And I just think, just to recommend with you all, to not fall for that. To not fall for the toxic boss when they're trying to throw that at you, trying to make you mess up. And they make you think, okay, if I'm going to mess up this guy, this lady, let me just throw in a curveball at them so that way they think they know it, but then I throw in something to where I outsmart them. And see, when you don't play that game, when you play it cool and strong, then you get to dissipate, get to diffuse the situation. You get to throw that narcissist on his or her back. Example, so that same boss, when we were arguing, when we were talking, okay, he was saying things about me. Oh, you're gay, oh, you do this, oh, you go and say these things to these people and yada yada. Just trying to badmouth in front of other people. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, dude. Say what you gotta say. Keep smiling, I'm smiling. We're still standing here in the same room together, nothing's happening. We're just talking the talk. But the thing was, getting past that moment, it felt good. Because in the moment, being cool and relaxed, you realize, all right, why fear what your opponent's trying to do to you? Why fear when someone's trying to trap you, to bait you, to doing something that you will regret? When you recognize that trap is set for you, and you recognize, all right, how am I going to diffuse this? All right, just diffuse it with negative energy. Don't play into that game. When you know, don't play the game, when you take yourself away from their frame. Now think of this. They laid out a trap for you, but they put that trap into a frame where they can be the victor. They can ask questions. You're in their office. You are in their environment, to where with their frame, they can destroy you. So keep that in mind. When you recognize you're in their frame, and they start to try to throw these questions at you in their element, see, that's a very scary situation, where you're thrown into the deep end, thrown into the pool with the shark, with the lion, right? Whatever metaphor you want to use. And now, how are you going to get out of that environment? How are you going to play it cool and not fall into the trap? And the thing with me was just diffuse it. Be very boring, or go along with it, right? Go along with their question and their energy. So they're like saying, okay, you're gay and this and yada. You can't do this. You can't pass any math class because I saw your grades and yada yada. And it's like, all right, creep. You want to say those things to me? Go right ahead. I'm going to diffuse you just by staying calm and acknowledging, okay, sure. And so I'm pulling in that energy. I'm pulling in that negativity, so that way when they are done, oh, now I can just hit it back with positivity. And they're like, whoa, okay, I'm losing the battle in my own frame, in my own office. I'm losing this fight because I'm losing to this kid by not staying cool and collected in my element. I'm not grounded to where I can bash this guy, this lady anymore. And now that should give you confidence, that everyone who's listening in, on how to diffuse a negative situation. And it helps to be patient. It helps to have all those characteristics of being, just thinking ahead of the game, to plan out how an argument will go, and okay, if you don't do this and that's all good. Now let me throw this at you. Okay, so you're in the argument and you feel like you can say something in that moment. You kind of start to argue back. How many of us would do that? Do you find that repulsive? Do you find that like, oh, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't throw my job on the line? But if you're already on the verge of being fired or being moved, think of this. What's to lose? Just do it with this idea, nothing too over the top, but make your little stance to where it's like, all right, you made this comment about me, let me say something to you. I am all right, and I don't have to fall for your game. I don't have to fall for it, and I am strong in the moment. And I hope you caught what I was saying right there, this idea of not going over the top and making some sort of stand. And that really drives your opponent crazy when they're trying to throw you off, put you on your back, because you just kind of are like, oh, whatever, dude. I'm right here standing in front of you, and it just didn't faze me. It didn't faze me because I'm awesome. And now I'm going to move forward and take you down, because I know what I'm doing is right. What I'm doing is right for me, for the people who I'm taking care of, my family. You don't know anything about me, dude. I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to just be awesome as I am and grow. I know what I'm doing is right. And if you can't tolerate my growth and potential because you are a jealous boss, all right then, we'll part ways. We don't have to butt heads on this. We don't have to go after each other's throats, nothing like that to that extreme. Let's just move on. You got something to do, I got something to do. Let's just move on, okay? And the thing was, you realized in that moment you just built some stamina. You had the ability right there to grow, and you did. Now you can walk away without feeling that regret. You stood your ground, and you feel great. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. And when you learn from that situation, going back to what I was saying earlier about learning from mistakes and growth and opportunities, yes, you learn more from mistakes as far as you can work one thing out to then work out the next step and yada yada. Hopefully you didn't make too many mistakes so that way you can get to the solution faster. But the thing is, if you have few mistakes to a solution, that is much better, I would argue, because that means you're close to really perfecting a process to becoming so great. So with the less mistakes you have, the closer you are to succeeding, closer you are to being a success. And I think that is something that we overlook as far as when we learn from mistakes. It's like, okay, yeah, I didn't make it to the passing grade of 100%. I had a 75. I had 20 mistakes. Okay, good. Take down as many as you can the first go around of mistakes. Go from 75 to 90 if you can. Oh, that'd be a great jump. Okay, but then you go from 20 mistakes to 5. All right, now you're in the process of really improving your system, of really thinking about, all right, now that I can go after these 5 mistakes, I can tackle these 5 carefully now because I know where it's like in this puzzle piece where the issue is, the error. Now that I can tackle those final few, now I can grow and get the 100% because I know what to do and tackle them and get them ready for me to pass this grade now, to get the 100% because I learned from them and now I can move forward. Now think of this. I've been doing a few videos over the months now, almost a full year. That's exciting, almost to my anniversary. I'm probably very close. I gotta just track when I started my first video. But the thing is, just tweaking your video every subtly so often, you can always improve your product to where people start to like and they buy into what you're selling because you're now becoming a better speaker in an environment, a better talk person. You're starting to learn to thrive in a new environment, thrive in an environment that it's been here. I've been driving my whole life, but you can now create another part of your environment to use. Who would have thought I've been doing videos on the road, doing videos while I drive, right? Who would have thought that? But some YouTuber had to think of it. Someone had the idea, and now I have the audacity to copy that idea and to put that into my repertoire of skills. See, when you can copy somebody, put it in your own skill set, oh my gosh, you're becoming valuable, you're becoming dangerous, you're becoming awesome, and you start to recognize, I can do these skills in different environments now. If I can do this while I drive, I was about to say fly, but don't be the pilot, obviously. That'd be interesting if people have done flying videos while they YouTube. That'd be kind of scary. I'm sure there's somebody that's done a few of them if they were the pilot. I don't know. But point being, check your environment, see what you can do in a different environment with some skills, apply that, and then you recognize, wow, I'm becoming awesome. I am realizing I am not defined by my environment or my frame. I can be an awesome counselor, teacher, nurse in different places. I can save a life in a different environment, and that is the bigger theme of the video. Because with that nurse idea, all right, I can save somebody in the hospital. You came to me, but as a nurse, as a doctor, can you save somebody in a different place in their own home? Can you? That'd be pretty impressive. Because to me, that shows you are more than just competent. That tells me you know your skills, and you are actually a doctor and a nurse that is living beyond the actual work environment. You can now go anywhere and save life. Now that is impressive. To me, that's my definition of success. And I challenge you to think like that too. To think, okay, if I'm an engineer, if I'm a counselor, if I'm a priest, see, I'm referencing things that I've done before, can I do these different skill sets in different environments? And you think now, all right, I can do that. I can do some of these things in different places, in a car, in a classroom, on a plane, on a boat, what am I? Reading that one storybook about I can eat with the fox, I can eat with the mouse, and all that with Dr. Seuss, right? There we go. I can think of books on the spot. But the thing is, if I could do these in these places, right, with these different people and environments, you're becoming an awesome person. You're professional. You are now becoming one of the very few people that is an expert beyond the frame, an expert beyond the environment. You are truly an individual that someone can reckon with, as someone who can save your day in a nutshell if you are put to the back, put to the grind. And I think that's something to share with you all as far as an experience, to think, okay, I am now becoming awesome, and now I can go anywhere. So go for that. Go for that environment. Go for that experience. And the thing is, as everyone goes home now to celebrate, to relax, to celebrate their victories in the day, what are you going to do now outside of work that's going to put your business on top? See, everyone's going home now to relax, to sleep, and do their thing. But as I have learned from other YouTubers and entrepreneurs, what are you going to do to build that business now on the side hours before you go to bed? You have a few hours, I think 4 to 6 hours now before you crash. All right, this is where you become rich. This is where you start to really take hold, grab a handle on your business, your life, to go ahead of the other people from the 9 to 5 people at work. Are you willing now to put in some effort at home to where you're now working on your business, working on something? And if you've caught this, as I'm talking to you on this YouTube video, see, I'm working on my business right now in front of you, past the 9 to 5. Posting videos, as small as this may be, it's growing something. It's growing something, a product working for me in the moment. And if you catch that, you're building beyond the 9 to 5. There, you're becoming a very powerful businessman, business lady. You are now starting to grab hold excuse me, of your business in a profound way, for clients to take notice and to say, wow, this guy's still grinding right even past the work hours. How can that be? Is this guy tired? Is he bored? Does he want to take a break? Of course I want to take a break and relax. Of course I want to relax and be happy. But now I've recognized that in these hours after work, this is where I can separate from my competition. And you can too. You can separate from your opponents. You can separate and become ahead of the game that you're playing in. You realize, okay, there's not much different between me and other people. We have great intelligence, everybody. We have great skills and abilities. We all have the same time. But now how do I get a system going that works for me, where I can now put things, information into the system, resources, and it'll produce back? Right, I got a YouTube channel. I got videos to upload. I got videos to set on Premiere. I got things ready to set going. All right, I'm going to read an extra book today, or an extra chapter. Start small. I'm going to do an extra bit of a workout. Start small. And now I can expand that to different areas, because now that small thing became routine. The small exercise became a routine. Remember that. And if you do and apply that in different areas of your life with business and moving forward, okay, you are not going to fail. You're going to succeed, I guarantee you. You're going to move forward and surpass your opponent, because your opponents now recognize you are putting in all your work with your homework. See, homework is something that people are like, why do I want to do this, yada, yada, yada. But if you put in your own personal homework, more than just answering questions of yeses and nos, incorrects and all that, if you actually find the reasons behind why things work in certain ways, you actually study, you are now going to surpass many people in your environment. And now comes the question. Now comes the question of this. When you start to surpass your coworkers and your boss and other people, etc., are you going to do so at your own risk, recognizing, okay, I may need to apply for a different job and opportunity. I may need to get out of this environment. So be prepared to grow at different rates. And when you become one of the few people that do so, and people recognize this person's going to go somewhere, all right, then just let them think of what they think about you and grow. It's all right to have enemies. It's all right to have enemies that recognize you're growing. It's not a fight worth fighting for. If you recognize, oh, hey, what are we going to do? Just have an argument? It wasn't worth it to argue with the boss. It wasn't worth it to make a big scene. Stood my ground. That was good. But I defeated my opponent, and now I can move forward. now I can move forward on the bigger things. And I think you all can too. Just battle your fights well, do good, and you will be strong. And I know you got this. And you will stand up not only for yourself, but find ways to improve your life and your business, everything about you, and you got this. So that is for me from Mike the MC. I want to do a bit of a shorter video on the road, but I don't have to do it from all the way to the end. Good critics will let you know what you need to do to improve, and I thank you, critics. This is going to be a great video, I know, and so don't give up on yourself, work hard, and improve your environments as little as possible. All right, everyone, hope this video finds you well. Take care, have a good one.